Today I made a rule for myself, no coffee until I've drunk the same amount in water. I love drinking hot black coffee, slightly watered down like wine on a Sunday morning. I like it a little burnt in a plain white mug, an ode to how they serve it at diners in southern Indiana. I started drinking it black the summer I gave up dairy. My nose would crinkle at the bitterness. Now I look forward to it. I love the smell and the warmth, the moment of calm on college weekends, or something to keep me going into the night. Dad had an old plastic coffee maker he had bought in the 90s. It was white and loud. He kept a canister of Maxwell House next to it each morning, scooping the grinds and dumping them into the paper filter. When I was 4 and he was 4 decades older, he started using whitening strips and baking soda in an attempt to rid the stains on his teeth. I hated the smell back then. I crinkled my nose when he'd open the canister, just as I did 14 years later when I first tried a sip of coffee, no creamer. Dad made us pancakes every Saturday morning, allowing me to pour the batter when I was old enough. It was the Kroger brand with spreadable butter and fake maple syrup. The memories are fuzzy yet warm like my mug. I think back to her standing on a kitchen chair so that she could reach the stove and flip the pancakes. We sat at Dad's old kitchen table, the walls painted bright yellow because he let me pick the color. We bowed our heads and prayed as good Catholics do. How did I let her grow? 20 years passed and I have no recollection of it. I have her memories, but she is not me. I turned 14 in a brand new house with dark cherry cupboards and beige walls. Dad's old table became an unsolved mystery. I don't know where this new one came from. The canister of Maxwell House gone. Dad was in the kitchen at 6:14, the sun not yet out. I was woken by the hissing of the latte machine his wife had taught him how to use. I made it up the stairs, and he poured a shot of espresso into a yellow and red striped mug. 2 coffees in his hands, one for him and one for her. "Hey, kiddo," he said, with a smile. He never fully got rid of the stains. "Good morning," I replied as I poured dry cereal into a bowl. It's funny how time passes and life progresses without us noticing. 10 years ago it was just us. Now we live with her. Life adds another 10 years, and I drink hot black coffee 4 times a day. I wake up before the rest of the house and brew myself a cup so that I can sit in the kitchen table in silence. I think back to Dad's old coffee maker and his wife's new one. It's been over a decade of him making lattes each morning. I wonder if he remembers how he used to drink it. I sit and I sip hot black coffee in the dark. I crave the bitter. I mix it with herbs. I know my good Catholic father would never. I drink it like wine on a Sunday, holy and pure. I drink like good Catholics do, every last drop, washing away my sins and drowning the devil within. It floods my veins like Noah. The warmth in my throat brings me back to the first sip of his blood. I eat dry toast, and it's his body, it's ritual, it's faith, my own ceremony each morning. I no longer sit on wooden pews, hands folded, eyes drifting, mouth clenched. I no longer shudder at the idea of eternal fire because no heat can match that of my lungs and that of my mug. Pot after pot, just like mother, and like that of a mother, I have to remind myself to drink water in between, each sip bringing a new wave of creativity and questions. How did I get here? How long have I been here? Where do I go from here? Is there a God? Does he see me? Has he always been watching? I remind myself to close the curtains as I sit and paint in the night. Where did Dad's table go, and his coffee pot? Were they discarded as easily as the world we built together, or do they sit proud in a new family's home? What happens to the things we own when they're no longer ours? I think about the excitement of the first cup Dad brewed in his loud, white coffee maker, the dinners we shared at his old kitchen table, beef tacos, chicken rice and peas, spaghetti. Sometimes we would order pizza on Wednesday nights, pepperoni with Parmesan cheese crust. We would eat it with ranch or Catalina dressing. Dad would put on a Disney movie, and I would pretend to fall asleep at the end, so he would carry me upstairs. The next morning, hot black coffee. The next evening, chicken rice and peas. Dad introduced me to cold pizza for lunch, but I liked mine heated up. We went to confession twice a month like good Catholics do, and church on Saturday evenings because Mom picked me up Sunday morning. Dad would set me on the stairs and we would talk about everything we had done in our 3 days together. Tasks that used to bore me. Now I understand he wanted to make sure I remembered him and his dumb jokes and our fun so that I would look forward to seeing him the next week. Mom pulled up and honked her horn. Dad gave me a hug and stood on the porch as I walked down the drive, a fresh mug of hot black coffee in his hand. I think about the early 2000s a lot, the way the birds used to sing, Happy Meal toys, watching Arthur after school. I wonder if I'm the only one who thinks back to these days and how it felt to experience a world with complete ignorance to how quickly things were to change. Back when I prayed over food and over my family, back when I spoke to angels and saints, back to when I ran barefoot in the grass and cried over paper cuts. I miss the sound of the ice cream truck ringing around the corner and the excitement of the last day of school. Somewhere along the line, life turned into preparing for tax season, pregnancy, and making sure my car registration is up to date. Sometimes I feel guilty for spending my nights in the studio in silence and peace. I feel like I need to be in a constant cycle of motion and productivity, yet my mind never stops thinking, dreaming, worrying, reflecting, and creating. I think that is how the system is set up for us to feel. We're supposed to feel guilt, anxiety, and pressured by the weight of impending doom. I want to be a girl again, back before tampons and training bras, counting calories and eyeliner, where my hair was unkept and Dad was always in the kitchen brewing his coffee.